Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about the restoration path for the knighthood, the Mage Knighthood skills, and I have enough tattoos in order to flip between the two paths now. So I just want to go over that a bit and just new information in whatever I have on me at the moment. I've tried to record this video twice now, and both times something crazy happens. I've recorded other videos in between, after, before, since those, but every time I try and do footage of these skills, something goes haywire. So hopefully third time's the charm. So here we are. So for the arcane tech, we've seen this before. Basically, when you hit knighthood, you need 12,000 stats, tattoo stats. Distributed in various ways. Like for the archers, you need more attack. For the top set of talents, you need 10,000 strength and 1,000 of defense and endurance. For the mages and the knights, you need 8,000 of your main attack stat and then 2,000 of defense and endurance. And you really do need to go for this top setup first. The main reason just being because all your PvE stuff like world boss, dragon invasion, like everything is going to be so unpleasant if you don't go for the attack setup first. When you go to this bottom half or either of the paths, you have these two skills, but for particularly for the mages and for the knights, the only attacks, the only things that are going to deal damage are these two basic skills when you go into this lower path. So that's just like no good. These are not strong enough to really get by in the rest of your daily things. So if you can only do one path, it really has to be this top one. And for me, I just barely made it to the arcane tech when I was doing this. But now I have enough defense. At first, I actually screwed it up a bit. I meant to do this much sooner, but I just messed up how I was distributing the tattoos. I don't have a lot of normal henna. I've gathered up a little by now, but previously I ran myself dry completely of normal henna trying to adjust my tattoos. So here are my tattoo stats now. They're actually very, very good. So I did some tattoo stats like over 3 days, and it worked out pretty nicely. And so I'm in good shape now. Over 12,000 intelligence, and then 4,000 of defense and endurance. And the 4,000, I had the intellect already, but the 4,000 defense and endurance is the key part to getting these skills right. So here, for the restoration talent, I need 4,000 each. So just as long as I have 8,000 intellect, 4,000 defense, 4,000 endurance, I can switch between the two. So here it says, do you want to switch? To make it easier, I can just click that button, and I can switch between the two paths, sort of like the first and second skill sets if you get the dual skills for normal, the normal or class advanced skills. So yeah, we'll go over these heals. There was some point I wanted to make. I only have 14 of these points. I did want to mention, since I've been asked it so many times now, that for gaining these assignable skill points, I've mentioned that you need to level up, and people are asking how many. It's every 4 levels. So when you hit class advancement, the normal one before, there are 8 stages and 10 levels, so in total 80 levels. So you have the original 80 levels, and then on top of that another 80 levels, and now we have another 80 levels. So it's again 8 more stages and 10 levels. I can show them over in the profile. So over here, I think I'm at 2, maybe, or I forget, but yeah, so 8 stages. They use the word level here too many times. They should really put like stage or something, but anyway, so 8 stages, and each stage is divided into 10 levels, so yeah, a total of 80. So if you're at stage 1, your first skill point is at stage 1 level 2, and then from there it's every 4 levels. So it'll just go like, at stage 1, it'll be levels 2, 6, and 10. At stage 2, it's going to be levels 4 and 8, and so on and so forth. So for the odd numbers, it'll be 2, 6, 10, and then for the even numbers, it'll be 4 and 8. So hopefully, I think the last skill point that you'll get is at stage 8 to level 8, and that should be all set. So that's that, and now we can go look around at the skills again. So we have these 2 basic attacks that are for either one of the sets, you keep them, but for the healing set, these are the only attacks, and it's really important just to gain rage, basically. But yeah, so then we have 3 active skills: Healing Hands, Brightly Shining, and Paradise Carol, and then four of the passives. So I think first we'll just go over the active skills, and then I'll circle back around to look at the passives. So first up, we have Healing Hands. This is sort of like Restoration, so it heals a party member who possesses the lowest percent of HP. So whoever has the least HP restores HP equal to, at level 1 it's going to be 10% of max HP, and it decreases the damage received by 30% and lasts 2 turns. So the shield that's created, or the buff, that the defensive buff from this, is actually better than Restoration. Restoration gives a very small defensive buff for like 15% from the QTE bonus, but this one just naturally, none of these skills have QTE, but this one has a better shield. And then the heal itself is worse though, because it's percentage based. So even if we go up, so each time it's 5% more. So even if we go up to like, oh, well, you have to go to level 5. Level 5 is the requirement for all the other ones. So at max, it's going to be 30% of max HP, and so that's, I mean, that's hardly anything. If I, with Restoration and like the normal skills, I could, do 1 crit heal, and it would be, well over 1,000,000 HP, which for me would be, well, now, I mean, maybe 30% isn't as bad as I thought, but my attack stat is also getting better, so my crit heals would have been ridiculous by now. Whatever it is, the percentage-based heals are still, in most cases, going to be worse than non-percentage-based ones. I don't know if they think the HP stats are getting so ridiculous that a percentage-based heal would be better, but personally I think it's a bunch of garbage. Okay. So then we have Brightly Shining. So this adds a healing buff to the entire party, restoring 10% max HP each action for 3 turns. So this is basically Suntoria, and each time it's going to go up 2% with each level, so it can go all the way up. Should be 18%, I think. Alright, so yeah, this is going to add a healing buff for the entire party, restoring 18% max HP each action for 3 turns. So this is shorter than Suntoria. With QTE, I think Suntoria is like 6 or 7 turns. I think 7 turns. It's like, yeah, it's 7, I'm pretty sure. So this is a regenerative skill. You can do it every 10 seconds, but I don't know anybody who's going to have 80 rage every 10 seconds. It's a very, very high rage cost, and so that's sort of terrible. But at the same time, this is very helpful if you're taking a lot of damage. Especially if your team's taking a lot of damage, this is going to be very, very nice. It's going to be better than Suntoria in that sense if you're taking high damage. Suntoria is really nice if you're taking a little bit of damage and you just want to keep your team healthy and gain a little HP back each time. That's great. This is a very, very serious heal, and of the active heals is probably the best one of the bunch. Even though the rage cost is really just horrid. Okay, and so I have 4 points to go, so I can see the max for this one, but I won't be able to actually have the maximum level for this. So here's Paradise Carol, and it restores 25% max HP for the entire party and removes 3 negative buffs. So this is sort of like Blessed Light and Purification put in one. Purification removes 3 negative buffs from the entire party, and Blessed Light heals the entire party. Again, percentage base, so at max, so it goes up 5% each time. So at maximum, it restores 45% max HP for the entire party and removes 3 negative buffs. So really, I mean, it costs 100 rage, so it's incredibly expensive. It just really killing me with the heals. These are really, really pretty dreadful. I think they've pretty much turned, once you hit Knighthood, the mage class goes from being, sort of like, you know, AoE specialist slash healer to just a nuke, you know, like an AoE nuke type of class where you just really have high damage for AoEs and just bomb everybody. I mean, that's pretty much what your class is. It's all about, you know, increasing the damage your opponents take and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, they've really wrecked the mages, you know, one of the huge roles for the mages by doing this. So, yeah, it's disappointing, but it's what it is. What it is. You know, I don't know a situation where I would be the primary healer for a party. I would have to be on a different server, really, just the logistics of my server. I don't really see it. Possibly at Chaos War, when I'm matched up with Grimmith and Robin and Evil Arrow. Possibly that's the only place I could see myself being a healer. But I would never want to be alone with this set of skills. Like, this is the worst setup for a mage, being alone. Like, this is not the kind of situation I would want to be in. These skills, particularly at low levels, are very, very weak. And so really, you know, if you want to get away with this, I think you need to be very, very high level, because you need a lot of points to go into these passive heals, and you need a lot of points to have some decent attacks over here. So really, to me, this restoration setup is something that you do when you have a lot more skill points than whatever I have at the moment. It'll take me a while to get there. Okay, so we can reset. We can look at the passives. So here again, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to get this to 5 at some point anyway. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, just leave it at 3 for now, so I can max these out. Okay, so first passive is Mono Reflex. It's 15% chance to restore 1% of HP to the entire party after each action. So that's after each of my actions. At first, when I read that, I thought the mechanics might be a little different. So the rate of this increases by 5%. You know, who knows what that means. It's very clear that the rates are not true to whatever the game says for most things, but 35% chance should be, you know, a third of the time. You know, a third of your actions should restore the team HP by 1%. So it doesn't have to do with your teammates' actions, but just your actions have the potential to recover everybody's HP. And then we have Soul Transformation. Is a 15% chance to heal party member who possesses the lowest percent of HP, restores HP equal to 5% its max HP after each action. So if both of these proc at the same time, whoever has the lowest amount of HP will gain 6% HP back. So here you'll up the rate. Again, it should go to 35%. So yeah, so these are your regen heals out of the bunch, and then I think the other ones are, yeah, they're very different in nature. Okay, again, because apparently my recording life just, you know, hates this video, so I left my window open, and the bells start chiming because it just hit 8 a.m. Anyway, okay, so here we go. The rest of the passives. So here, you know, do I need 5 points? Yes, I need to get this to 3, and then I get the passives. So really, you just need to max out that one always. So here we have Seed of Wisdom. It's 20% chance to increase all resistances by 15% after each action, stackable up to 3 times, last 2 turns. So defensively, I think this is the passive. So the heals, you know, the regenerative stuff, great. You're like, oh yay, maybe this is gonna be good. No, this is really the passive that I think can make or break this setup. So you know, there's a lot of defensive things in the game, particularly, you know, the knights have these crazy shields that are so OP and ridiculous, and much more obviously OP, whereas Seed of Wisdom, I think, you know, all of these skills can be scattered, so there's some scary bit to that. You know, potentially an archer can really screw up your setup and everything. The mages also have a way to scatter a little bit, like one buff. But I think this is really fantastic. So a 20%, it's 20% any level, so if I level it up each time, the rate remains the same. but the increase to all resistances goes up and it stacks. So at max, it's going to go up by 5% each time. So when we're all capped off, it's going to be increasing my resistances by, or the whole team's resistances by 35% after each action, and it's stackable up to 3 times. So we're looking at 105% increase to all your resistances if this procs enough times. So this can be really helpful and be a huge defensive aspect to your whole team. Maybe logistically it's going to get screwed up somehow. Very easy for things like that to happen for passives that only last 2 turns, but even if it's only 35%, it could be really great. So I think this is really the best passive. Probably if you get this, is automatically a place where you should put some points. If you decide to go with this, which, I would not favor this setup over the offensive one, but regardless, if we're talking about you have to use the restoration setup, I think this is a fantastic passive. So that's very nice. And now I gotta reset again. So working with very few skill points really makes it hard to get through all of this stuff. And then the last one is War Blessing. It's a 15% chance to remove a negative buff for the entire party. So this is sort of like a passive purification. And so the rate will get pretty high. We're up at 35% at max. So 1 in 3 chance to remove a bad or a negative buff from your entire party. This can be, potentially good, particularly because the archers are constantly hitting you with these awful debuffs that make you take so much damage. This is nice on top, because you're not always going to get to Paradise Carol. It's so expensive as far as rage goes that to purify the whole, I mean, it's outrageous to think that a purification costs 100 rage, right? I mean, we will go from costing 20 rage to costing 100 is crazy. Obviously, you get a heal on top of it, but if you just need to purify, that's not going to cut it. So instead, you could try and throw runes or do quick things, cast things really fast in order to try and purify your group as well. That's one way to approach it if your rate on this is good. So those are all the skills. I would, when am I going to use this? So I guess I have to do sort of like a demonstration of these skills, or else you're never gonna see me use them again. So I have to do that, right? Okay, I guess, I'm not gonna show Paradise Carol just because you get the idea. And this one's already a percentage-based heal, and I don't have a team to heal at the moment anyway for Paradise Carol. So what I'm gonna do is just put 1 in each of these passives. When are you gonna see any of these passives proc? Well, it'll be fine. And so I guess I can go to like Sky Trail or something. That's probably my best bet. Okay, so I guess I'll just go ahead and attack one of these. Doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, so go ahead and use Brightly Shining since that's regenerative. So again, 18% chance max HP for each turn. So use that, get the whole party regenerating. So there we are. So I think it probably used, so I only have 2 turns now with heal rune. So 476k looked like what the heal was. So one of the turns is the turn that you're casting, so that's something to take into consideration. And there was the percentage based heal. So this is back. I do have enough rage for it again. So basically it's just Centauria and Restore. It doesn't look any different. The animations, they don't really do a very good job with these Knighthood skills. They just look identical to everything we've seen previously. All the animations are stolen from something else. The art looks different for the skills, obviously. That's very different. But as far as just I mentioned that to Robin one time, and she was just like, well, if they added different animation, it would probably lag the game even more. So maybe it's best they don't use different animation. But it just seems a little bit lazy to me. But there we are. Okay, so in Sylph mode, so we see some of the passives proccing. So, you know, I would have to test it a lot more to be able to tell if the rate is any good. But again, so obviously I have to go into Sylph mode because these skills aren't going to do anything. So if I want to deal damage, I need to be in Sylph mode. Otherwise, I think these skills, I mean, these are skills you should use when you have a team around. This isn't, I don't see this being a great idea in, well, I mean, Class Wars, could we make this happen? I just don't see it, you guys. This looks like a really, really terrible idea. I mean, conceivably, and where would you find the rage to deal with Class Wars? I just, no, I'm conceptually, it's not doing it for me. So yeah, that's it. I mean, I highly recommend everybody just use the arcane tech for now until we really see a point to this heal setup. I think there are very, very few contexts where this is a really good idea. So anyway, there you have it. I hope this was helpful. We have plenty more on the blog about all of the knighthood stuff. So if you have any questions, I would definitely go check it out there. I try and keep track of the talents. The comments on at least the posts that I write, but it's a little hard to keep track of everything. Otherwise, you can try and check us out on Facebook and all that good stuff, and we can try and answer any questions. Thanks for watching, you guys. Take care and have a very good day.